Yeah, so my name is Andrew Keener. I'm the Director of Agriculture for the nonprofit TERI Inc. TERI is based in Oceanside. And TERI's been around since, I think it started in 1981. So it's a nonprofit for autism and other developmental disabilities. TERI stands for Training, Education, Research, and Innovation. And so one of the unique things about TERI is the enrichment programs that they have. And one of them is the Agriculture Department. They've been in agriculture or started really organic growing, farming probably 15 years ago. So it started with CSA boxes so that the clients in the residential homes could get homegrown organic produce. And that's kind of where it started. I started in the microgreens department, I think 9 years ago. Yeah, it'll be 10 years in October. And I kind of joined to start the microgreens program. They've been growing stuff, but wanted to get into some other things. Microgreens really kind of became popular, I think, in 2012 is when they really blew up. There was like a study. If you Google, I think it's like Mighty Microgreens. There was a study, I think University of New Hampshire or something, where they determined that microgreens contain 7 to 40 times more nutrients than adult plants. And it just like blew them away. And it's like all across the board of what nutrients and, you know, the concentrations of different ones. But that is really what, you know, put them on the map and they started to become popular. There were other follow-up studies, but that was like really the main one. So it's worth like looking into if you just Google Mighty Microgreens or microgreens study on nutrient density. And that's how I got into it. I've been growing stuff since I was probably 16 years old. I grew up in Humboldt County in a little town of 783 people. You know, my kids I grew up with, a lot of their parents were like hippies into gardening. And my like childhood best friend, his parents were hippies, and they're the ones that really got me into gardening. My parents always grew stuff too. It was just kind of like second nature, but in Humboldt County, it's like a really big thing. Stuff grows really well there. Fell in love with nature. And yeah, probably started like 16 years old. And then I went to college, you know, after high school, and I eventually, you know, I did a year and then I left college and moved to a 40-acre organic permaculture farm that like bordered the river. It's like a really awesome, beautiful place. So my parents weren't that happy that I left college and moved to a farm. But that's really when I lived there on the land, you know, no electricity. It was like basically developing raw land, spring water, planted a bunch of fruit trees. And that's when I started eating the stuff that I actually grew. And I just noticed that I had like tons of energy. My eyes got really clear. My skin got clear. And that's when I knew that there's a huge difference in like what you eat, how it affects your body, you know, growing up eating regular food and then stuff that you grow. It just, yeah, totally affects your body. So that's what got me into it. Then I tried to figure out a way to make a living most of my adult life by growing or gardening or something in that field. I started a business when the economy wasn't very good, 2010, 2009, 2010. I started a business called Urban Organics. So I put in gardens for people and then maintain them so that they could like grow their own food in their backyard. Didn't make much money on that, but kind of kept it going. And then I saw a job opportunity at TERI, and I needed health insurance because the government wouldn't give me my tax return because I didn't have health insurance. So I still want my $1,200 back, but they offered health insurance for a full-time position. So I got a job there, and they're like, do you know about microgreens? I'm like, not really, but I could figure it out. So yeah, that was almost 10 years ago. Started building the first like hoop house. Right when I got there, basically, that was like the beginning of my job, was like working with this contractor to build a greenhouse. And then I had one book on microgreens from a guy in New York. And that book was helpful. And then soon after, a bunch of other information came out about microgreens. Not all of it's accurate. But yeah, that's how I started and got into it. And then, microgreens, I think, is really the most nutrient dense food on the planet. Apparently, I don't know. There's not really conclusive studies that confirm that, and there hasn't been enough like follow-up studies, I don't think. But 7 to 40 times more nutrients, there's definitely something there. And so it's definitely superfood. I think it can help a lot of people. We grow mostly for chefs and restaurants, because chefs, there's like a market for that. Because in San Diego County, it's like lots of chefs use them, but they usually buy through a distributor. So the product sometimes is older or not as good. So we saw that there's an opportunity there. We grow directly for chefs and restaurants. And so our product usually ends up being better and lasting longer in the fridge. And that's kind of why we're able to do what we do currently. So I'm kind of just talking instead of looking at all my slides, but I might reiterate some stuff. But one of the cool things about TERI is their enrichment program, including the Agricultural Department. They also have an equestrian center where they do therapeutic horseback riding, performing arts center, all kinds of really cool stuff. 12 residential homes, soon to be 13, or maybe the 13th one is online. And yeah, so we've always grown. I mean, currently, and even before microgreens, TERI was always growing certified organic produce for all their homes and clients. We have chickens, raise pigs every year. Clients collect the eggs, and those get distributed to the houses. Many of the houses have fruit trees. Almost all of them have gardens, some of them small, like mini farms. And if this video works, we did like a video about a year ago kind of promoting our microgreens operation. So if I can play that, we'll see if it works forward. I'm seeing it on my screen. It's playing here, but not in there. That's okay. We'll skip that video for now, but we'll figure out how to play it at the end, because I think it's worth watching.
We could get it on our YouTube channel. Eventually, we could add it.
Sure.
I will show you afterwards how to end the video and stuff.
It's on there, it just won't play for some reason, but that's okay. We'll skip it for now.
Okay.
Yeah, we could skip it for now, but because it may be complicated, stop sharing and share it.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. So maybe at the end we can share it on the sheet.
Okay. Yeah, just sending it to a website. Cool. So after the original greenhouse that we built 9 years ago, we were successful selling to chefs and restaurants. Our first restaurant was Local Tap House in Oceanside, and the chef there really liked our product. They put microgreens on everything, And it started with local tap house and then it grew. We're currently in 20 restaurants and a small distributor in Orange County. This is basil. It's a basil that we grow. Basil's tough in the winter, but it does really well this time of year, so it looks really good right now. Yeah, once it gets below 53 degrees, it's probably the most cold sensitive. Once you get below 53 degrees, then it starts having problems. So we got to keep our greenhouses above 53 all winter.
Are
That's
they,
what this is, right?
Yeah,
are the greenhouses more like a house insulated with lights? So that,
no, we don't. We experimented with like artificial light or lights, but no, it's really just A-frame hoop
How do you use
houses.
the greenhouse?
We have a propane heater or propane heaters in 2 of them, but propane is at a 30-year high. So I actually installed a pellet stove in one of my greenhouses and experimented with that, and it cut the cost of heating down like significantly. And nobody else puts pellet stoves in the greenhouses. I don't know why it's not a thing, but it's like $6 for a bag of pellets, and we use about a pellet a night, or 1 bag a night of pellets, and it works really well.
is
So
it that the greenhouse is small enough that, and the stove's in the center? I mean.
it's in the back, but we have circular airflow fans in the greenhouse, lots of fans. So it circulates the heat. So the greenhouse is in the back and it has a vent, and
How warm does it keep it?
above 53 degrees.
After that, you don't care.
Yeah.
Do you need to cool in the summer?
Yeah, so in the summer we have wet walls. So those are probably running right now. Yeah, we'll figure out at the end how to get the video to play, then you can see a kind of tour of the greenhouse. So that's our dark opal basil at local tap house in Oceanside. So that's just an example of our finished product on an actual dish. And does everybody know what a microgreen is? Okay, so basically it's
The baby
So-
plant.
Yeah, it's just a baby plant. It's the stage of the plant. So microgreens are just any, whatever plant, herb, vegetable, cabbage, kale, broccoli, cilantro, basil, and it's just harvested at a young age. Usually,
What is this?
so that is our micro mix or mild micro mix. So it's a seed blend that we get from High Mowing Seeds that they do custom for us. And then we just add amaranth to that one. This is, that is amaranth fresh out of germination.
Wow.
So once that's full grown, we mix it in there and then we get like the colorful blend. And that in that mix is ruby streaks mustard, red cabbage, red kale, not red Russian kale. Red Russian kale turns yellow really fast for microgreens anyway.
Oh, so it should be yellow Russian kale.
So yeah, red cabbage, scarlet frills mustard, purple kohlrabi, broccoli. I think that's it. So that's like a super awesome antioxidant blend. I don't know if you guys have heard of sulforaphane, but there's a big thing about broccoli sprouts and sulforaphane. My theory is that broccoli microgreens maybe even contain more nutrients than the sprout itself.
Oh, so they're a superfood.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so there's a big, I mean, broccoli sprouts became popular a few years ago, but yeah, that's also in that.
So where do you
In
buy
that
your
blend.
bulk seeds?
I use like 3 or 4 different seed companies that I source from, because seed is a pretty important thing and they change all the time. So we're looking at like lot numbers on seeds and we test them to make sure they work. We document everything. I really like High Mowing Seeds. Kitazawa Seed Company was my favorite. They're like in Oakland and I could get seeds quickly. I spoke with the owner all the time. You know, I would tell her what seeds worked and which ones didn't. She was great to work with, but they sold a couple years ago to True Leaf Market, which is like an online seed company. Kitazawa still exists, but they don't run it anymore. So, but Kitazawa was always my favorite.
Do you ever take your own to seed?
Yeah, but we don't really, I mean, not in the microgreens, but I think you have to have a lot of land to really make your own seed. But amaranth is one where you could, amaranth puts out
Yeah,
tons
you
of
just
seed.
said you take.
So, but amaranth is also one of the cheaper seeds. So I don't know, it would be interesting. Basil seed is very important and is very, there's a lot of variables there, and it makes the quality of seed makes a big difference for basil for sure.
How many days does it take before you can harvest? And then once you harvest once, how many more?
So it's just one and done. So we will like trim that tray and then compost the soil. We have a really awesome big pile of good soil that's awesome for people's gardens and stuff as a base of the used microgreen soil. And it's like 7 to 30 days typically. So like radish and peas are like 10 days ish, and basil's the longest at like 30 days. Cilantro is between 18 and 21 days.
You have to buy the seed from someone who's already organic to be organic plants, right?
Typically, yes. There are some criteria if you cannot source organic seed. So some seed isn't available organic or at the time of purchase. So you have to have records. If you have non-organic seed, it has to be non-GMO. And you have to have like the lot number that it came from and 3 other sources where you prove that you looked for organic seed and couldn't find it. The other caveat is if you buy organic seed and it doesn't work or it goes bad or it has a problem, you say, hey, I bought organic seed, this stuff doesn't work, this is why. And now I'm using this other non-certified organic seed that's non-GMO because it grows and doesn't die. Or it germinates, you know, it can't be about price. So you can use non-organic seed as long as it's non-GMO and hasn't been treated. So if I'm being honest, I don't care that much if the seed is not certified organic, because sometimes it just comes down to paying for certification or not, and it be the exact same seed. I know for a fact the split seed cilantro that I use, because I talked to the seed company owners, that it's all exactly the same cilantro seed that came from the exact same source that the seed companies buy from. And then some of them pay to get it certified and some of them don't, but it's from the exact same source. So it just depends.
I got a question, because at the Department of Ag, I have a lot of organic arguments with PhDs over what's organic and what isn't. You take organic seed and you water with regular irrigation, not reverse osmosis, it's no longer organic.
Says who?
Yeah. The Department of Ag.
Water is not organic?
No, it has chemicals, stuff from the rain. Oh, it depends on where your water's coming from. The only, like, we had about 100 people in my last meeting, and everybody thought they were doing organic because they were not using chemicals. They weren't doing this, they weren't doing that, bought organic seed. And there was only one person in there that was actually organic. Their stuff was covered, watered with reverse osmosis. There was no introduction of anything into their greenhouses, but it makes it very expensive. So the Department of Ag has lowered the standards. It's like buying cheese versus cheese product. There's a percentage they allow for it to be called organic. So people are fooled when somebody says something's organic, doesn't mean it's 100% organic.
I mean, our certifier requires that we supply a water test annually. So we test the water wherever, you know, at the different locations. And even municipal water has never been an issue for our certification for producing crops. But it would be a problem if something came up in the water test and there was something in there that they didn't allow, because they have that criteria. That's why you have to give them a water test and a soil test annually. So it would probably be a case by case basis. But one cool thing about our microgreens is that we harvest rainwater from the roof of our barn and store it in 2 5,000-gallon tanks. And rain.
I mean, what's on the roof of your barn? Animals go up there, birds fly over.
That's organic.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're concerned about bacteria counts and other inputs that might be in there.
I know, but that's where it comes from, because I've seen them shut down organic farms just where someone's dog went into the rows and went to the bathroom, they made it
Yeah.
down 20 square feet around it. So I guess it just depends on who's doing the inspection.
Yeah, I mean, it does depend. Our certifier is a rabbi from New York, and he comes and checks out our operation every year, and he's super knowledgeable. And you know, you can usually, when they inspect stuff, they can usually tell if people are cheating. Like, we're not cheating. We're not. We might have some non-organic seed because other stuff doesn't work or whatever, but they clearly know we're not like spraying pesticides or using synthetic fertilizers, because
What
That's-
do you use?
rainwater and really good soil.
Do you use blood meal or bone meal?
No, there could be bone meal as an input in one of the soil products that we use to grow the stuff in. But the soil that we use is certified organic. So annually, we have to get updates from them too. So it's a lot of record keeping. Yeah, in general, everything we have to use has to be listed as approved or an improved input. But they're trying to catch people that are cheating, you know, saying they're organic, but like, you know.
Oh, tell me, I've been doing this for 40 years. I've seen it all.
Yeah, I think a lot of the hydroponic stuff where they say they're certified organic, I think there's a lot of cutting corners there maybe,
They
but
don't clean their tubing, they don't clean the stuff out.
yeah, that's the other thing.
You're gonna tell us
How do you
the soil.
put those,
Yeah.
the seed and not, are the kids seed, putting the seeds in the plastic? See how dense that is?
Yeah, so I have an SOP, standard operating procedure for seeding for every variety of seed, which soil to use, how much seed to put in each tray, how to water it in. So with microgreens, everything is very specific, and even if you get everything right, sometimes it doesn't work. But
Are the kids able to do it?
for the microgreens, no. Yeah, I mean, we have we just started a new internship program, so we have 2 new clients coming on, so they probably will. We'll just see how it goes with them, but right now it's our staff that does the seeding. Our clients do other tasks and distribution, so they'll take the product. It's another one of my slides where I'm just talking about it, but
So you had a picture.
there's
with the
Tony
kids.
trimming the microgreens. So our clients are involved in a lot of the processes, but one of the main ones is distribution. So a lot of our microgreens are delivered by our clients and staff to the restaurants that we sell to. So it gets them out in the community.
Is it open to the public?
Is
Like your farm, your facility?
I mean, yeah, with the invitation, it's not like it is a private property or a TERI home, you know, but we do like tours and stuff that we set up in advance. So you guys,
As long as it's ordering and everything, it doesn't say they have to be a restaurant, could a person order? Yeah, that's what I thought about.
Yeah.
the thing is just we have like minimums to make it work, so we just have to make sense. But yeah, we could like look at it. We just make sure it's a win-win for everybody involved. But typically, you know, if we have a 6 container a week minimum, most people don't use that. So it wouldn't make sense for us to drive 20 miles to deliver 1 container for $12 or whatever.
Well, that's why I was
But-
wondering if you could
Yeah.
pick it up. I mean, you get a neighborhood together and.
Yeah, one of those kind of things. Yeah, we're totally open to all that.
Where are the
Kinda
different
thing.
locations? Are they all like Oceanside in that area?
Yeah, we try to start with the closest place, just like any farm, you know, you want to like service the people closest to you and then go out from there. So most of our restaurants are in Oceanside, Vista, Carlsbad.
You were talking about the different locations of TERI. I'm wondering where.
Oh, the TERI homes also pretty much all in North County. Carlsbad, Vista, Oceanside. I think there's like 4 homes in Vista. Yeah.
Does your coffee shop in San Marcos have other products to sell besides the coffee and what you sell at the coffee shop?
Yeah, there's all.
Microgreen type things?
Um, the cafe uses our microgreens on a lot of their dishes. They're not currently selling microgreens there. I think they do sell some of the produce from the farm there.
Do you sell them in the tray with the soil or only harvested off of the tray in?
We've done both in the past, but we only sell full trays to one guy. He's one particular chef, but he's like one of the best chefs in San Diego County. He started Junette Jolie and Campfire in Carlsbad. And now he's at a place in Leucadia called Manna. So we grow, he wants the living stuff, so we grow for him living trays like that. But we do containers because chefs mostly want containers. That's kind of the market that already exists for chefs and restaurants, 4 or 3 ounce containers. I got that on a slide too.
Do you pre-wash it for them?
You know, we don't wash and dry our microgreens. They're basically fresh, trimmed, and packaged. Yeah.
Are there any grocery stores or any farmers markets where you outlet the cut?
We tried supermarkets, but there wasn't a profit margin there, so we couldn't compete with some of the bigger farms. If you look at a lot of the supermarkets, the microgreens generally don't look that good because they go bad really fast. They're a very delicate crop or plant.
Could you recommend a soil mix for homeowners to use growing microgreens? We want to grow our own.
Yeah. It's usually not the stuff that you get at like Home Depot or something like that, but
Maybe Grangenos or something.
yeah, so I found that we get better product or a better plant with stronger cell walls that last longer in a container with really good healthy soil full of organic matter and diverse inputs. So like ocean forest, I don't know if you've heard of that one. Stuff that you get like at a hydroponic store, or yeah, ocean forest is a good one. We use a lot of.
The Grangenos has that.
They do?
I think so.
Yeah, so that kind of stuff, the expensive stuff. The good expensive stuff. So that one works pretty good. Happy Frog is another one.
It would last a long time. There's not a lot of soil in here.
Right.
Yeah. So it stretches because you don't use a lot of soil. We just have like that much soil in the tray.
Yeah.
Roots organic soil is really good. They make a really good product. Roots Organics, Aurora
Are you
Innovations.
familiar with what the city did about 15 years ago at Miramar? The compost there, that stuff's like liquid gold.
Yeah,
And it's free.
we are not allowed to use that.
Doesn't it have a lot of seeds in it? No, that we took $24 million of taxpayers' money and the equipment. It's heat treated, it's checked by the entomologist, the plant pathologist, the lab, it's checked for everything. It doesn't even smell, it's just an organic issue from cat.
If they have documentation and like updated documentation, then we probably could. But for microgreens, there's
One
so.
on the ocean side too.
Yeah, the Oceanside,
Have you
El
used
Corazon.
them?
Yeah, we use them on our farms for inputs on the farm for sure. Their compost is awesome.
And they give away 5 gallons if you bring your own container of the tea, the
Mhm.
compost tea. If you go up there, they'll give it to you.
Yeah, their stuff is great in Oceanside. We've used that on our farms for years, and we know Mary Montoya, and they donate tons of compost for our farm because we also started a 1 acre produce farm in San Marcos at the campus last year, and we had, I don't know, 40 yards of their compost delivered and mixed into the soil because of
Yeah,
the,
the stuff is great.
it is good. It adds the organic matter. So that's basil from the farm that we started last year. At the TERI campus where the cafe is, restaurant, farm out back. We've partnered with Food Shed that took over that farm. So I'm back focused on microgreens again. But there's a 1 acre organic farm.
How do you deal with pests on basil or anything? It seems like they're very prolific,
For microgreens, we in the greenhouses, we don't really get many pests
but in this case here.
on the farm, outdoors. There's so many different ways, but
Is there a spray? Is there a?
there's stuff, there's sprays, but a lot of times the plants don't like it. You know, you can try the BT for worms, or there is one that's not oil based. A lot of times, you know, like in the sun, any of these sprays, you spray them, a lot of them have oils. And so then when it gets hot outside, it kind of damages the plant. But we don't use a lot. You know, it's more, part of the organic system plan that we have is crop rotation and cover crop. After every crop that we have in the ground, we do a cover crop. And that helps a lot, I think, when you're gardening in the same place every year. You can get a buildup of pests, but when you cover crop or leave the land to rest, when you have the room to do that or ability to do that, it brings down pest pressure a lot. There is a spray that's like an enzyme, Dr. Zymes, it's called. Dr. Zymes. I forget the company. It's an enzyme, it's not oil-based, and it works pretty good. It's not like, it won't like kill the stuff right when you spray it, but it's really mild and it does work and totally help with all kinds of different pests and disease.
What's the name?
I'm forgetting the exact name, but it's Dr. Zymes. I'm pretty sure it's called Eliminator. That's what it is. And again, it's like at the hydroponic store, or you can probably order it online, but I really like that stuff because it's different than all other pest sprays, for they're all oil-based.
The kids who are helping with the farm, like the outdoor, do they live on the same property that the farm is on?
So yeah, where the microgreens are in Vista, it's off Montgomery Drive. It's one of the TERI residential homes. So it's one of the homes, there's like 5 or 6 clients that live there full-time with full-time staff, and it's on about 2 acres. And that's the farm that we grow the microgreens and have row crops as well, where we grow the produce for the houses.
So the difference between sprouts and microgreens is the soil aspect.
Yes, well, sprouts never see the sunlight. That's why there's warnings about pregnant women not eating them and that kind of thing, because bacteria, the same environment that sprouts a seed, humid and warm, is the same environment that grows bacteria. And a lot of microgreen growers deal with mold issues and that kind of thing. So that's why sprouts have that warning. Whenever something sees the sunlight, the sunlight kills the bacteria. And so that's really the difference, is the stage of plant. You got seeds, sprouts, microgreens, petite greens, baby greens, and then full-size plants. So, yeah.
What was the name again of Dr. Zymes or Zymes?
Dr. Zymes Eliminator. Yeah, I like that stuff. It works really good. So yeah, if you guys want to come check out the farm or the greenhouses, let me know and we can set up a tour. This is a close-up finished product of what our herb blend looks like inside the container. So lots of herbs like shiso, fennel, dill, parsley, sorrel, amaranth. So we have a herb blend, which is like micro mix with a bunch of herbs mixed into it.
Are the microgreens really used, let's say, a salad, but just to top it or do you eat it as the salad?
So it's super healthy for you if you just were to cut that up and put stuff like the microgreen salad that we had here today. It's really good for you. A lot of chefs use microgreens for garnish, on top, like you're saying. But stuff like cilantro is like for the flavor, they'll put it on tacos and stuff. So some it's like a garnish, other is for the flavor. Basil's for flavor. And also it looks good. Yeah. And
Have you thought of freeze drying and selling it as a powder, the broccoli sprouts, for example?
yeah, I actually have.
What's the question?
Yeah, have I thought about freeze drying them and making a powder or product to sell for the. There's somebody in Colorado that does that. I think it's called B Micro or Beyond Microgreens. And they mix it with some teas and stuff. Broccoli sprout powder is really popular. So we've thought about it and looked at it, but we haven't done it.
In Europe, you can buy it. It's readily available in powder form. And actually, I checked UCLA has studies that it prevents cancer.
Yeah. Broccoli or just
the
the powder?
Yeah. Well, I don't know the broccoli microgreens, the ingredient, whatever. I'm not going to try to pronounce it.
Me either.
Sulforaphane?
Yes.
Can I ask you, what's the seed density when you're sowing?
Of which variety? What's
Arugula.
arugula? Arugula would be about 2 teaspoons per tray. And you really don't want to have bunches of seed. You really want to have the most even distribution you can. We have a vibro hand seeder, and it's like powered by a battery, and we go across each tray and it spreads it across the tray. And we also make ridges, like we have a little ridger and it makes channels across it.
Are you plugged in? Are you plugged in?
Well, my battery's running low.
No, oh, Tim.
That's
I'm because I'm
just talking to me.
Charlie. So this, you told me, was a mix?
That's what, yeah, we call it micro mix or mild.
So how many
mix.
seeds for the micro mix?
That would also be about two teaspoons. Let me double check.
2
Micro mix.
teaspoons.
No, hold on.
It's heavy.
No, that one's more. That one's
Okay.
about just under 1 tablespoon.
That's still
Everyone.
unbelievable. And that the basil, what's the,
Basil is way thinner.
Is this ready to be eaten?
3/4 of a teaspoon for basil.
3/4 of a teaspoon?
And you got 2 square feet in the flat, somewhere in there?
It's 10 inch by 20 inch. And we just fill it up to the
200.
top, make it flat.
And this is ready for harvest.
Yeah. Yep. Donna?
I think that you need to write a book so we can read it, so we can remember all of this, because it is a lot of interesting information. And you're young enough to take a long time to write it.
There's a bunch of books out there.
In our children's.
That's hilarious.
You don't do alfalfa.
No, we don't.
Would it regenerate itself if you did?
That's a good question. You mean like if you cut it and then it'll
Sure.
grow again? It probably would.
It does. Because
And we've-
not all of them grow at the same time.
Yeah, we've experimented with that with onion, where we cut a tray of micro onion and then it grows back. But the second growth isn't like a premium. It's not as good. Yeah, so we can't use it. So we don't end up doing that. So we trim all of ours. Yeah. So
When you compost your trays afterwards, then what do? Do you reuse that? Do you reuse that soil or not?
yeah, we use that for starts. We use them on the farm. I take truckloads of it to people's gardens. I supply. There's a restaurant in South Oceanside called The Plot. It's like a vegan restaurant. So they have gardens and stuff. So I bring a bunch of soil to them.
Where in Oceanside?
The plot, it's in South Oceanside near Wrench and Rodent, which is another one of our customers.
I know, it would be nice to get the names of the restaurants so we can check out their microgreens.
Yeah, I don't have that list here, but
Exactly.
I could name some of them off. Local
That
tap
is
house.
really good.
Oh, what?
Local Tap House is a big one. Wrench and Rodent is a sushi place in South
Why don't you
Oceanside.
put a list on
Yeah.
the monthly,
Sure.
We can send
you
them.
know,
Newsletter.
Yeah, and on the TERI website, there's a list of a lot of the restaurants. that
we're
are-
old, we don't, I've never gone out that door.
Yeah,
Andrew, if you'll email me the list of of those recommendations, it'll go in the meeting report.
okay.
And
Like that.
And we will go and make that, like,
Places to go.
And so the last thing is I would like our video to be able to play. So like I put it as a,
Open it up.
yeah, it says hit Control Tab. Let's try it again. And the video will like shows our greenhouse and it's edited. So if we can get that to share, then I'll play the video. It is on the website. If you go to the TERI Inc. website and then programs, microgreens, and at the bottom of the page. Is there audio? Let's see if it will make noise. The audio. The Agriculture Department at TERI in 2014 and helped start and now oversee the microgreens program. We currently grow for 20 different chefs and restaurants in North San Diego, and we also sell to one distributor in Orange County. We have figured out how to grow microgreens that are far more nutrient dense and last way longer in the fridge compared to all the other microgreens that you may encounter. Once someone sees and tastes our microgreens, they usually notice a difference right away. The greenhouses we have designed, the soil we use, and the attention to detail is really what sets us apart. I have found that the implementation of different strategies and tools is what allows us to grow healthy and vibrant microgreens all year long.
Hey, how's it going? My name is Paul Ronchetti. I'm originally from the United Kingdom, but I've been living in the States for about 13 years now. I've been working at TERI here for about 4 or 5 years, specifically in the microgreens department. And what I do here is grow the microgreens, harvest them, and deliver them to restaurants. So it's cool to be in contact with all the chefs, talking to the chefs, see what they need. And yeah, it's just really cool to see all these greens grow and flourish and then see them out in the real world.
I am Paul Balbuena, Food and Beverage Director for TERI Common Brand. Microgreens not only make our dish visually pleasing, but it gives them a and rich flavor while you're giving a large boost in nutrients. Microgreens really make our recipe stand out, and it gives an incredible experience to everyone that visits.
Yeah, so that's kind of it. So
I
I have one
Cool.
final question that was to try to encourage people, to inspire people to be willing to donate to TERI, because they are nonprofits. But your organization also has vocational training and other benefits besides the living on campus.
Yeah, so like Andrea did vocational stuff in microgreens and then in culinary, and now she works at the cafe.
Yes.
And then there's another internship program happening at the cafe, and we're starting an internship at the microgreens farm with 2 clients that are starting next week or the week after. So they have a job coach. They'll be working in the microgreens operation and learning skills. It's like a 6-month program. At the end of it, they'll get a certificate. And yeah.
Well, over 20 years ago, they had made wind chimes where I worked down, in one of the office type places. And there were kids either painting them or cutting the clay molds out of them. And I thought they left. I didn't realize they moved to Oceanside mostly.
And do you think they were TERI clients or? Yeah.
Yeah, clients, they were bussed in to that location every day.
Yeah, and TERI's always been in Oceanside, and now everything they built, the cafe, this is all, 20 years ago, they bought 20 acres in San Marcos with the vision of building a campus for people with autism and developmental disabilities, almost like a college campus out there. And construction started a couple years ago, and the Performing Arts Center is just completed. So there's going to be, or there has been, shows and performances there. It's like a theater. The vocational center and cafe. And
I
a farm.
toured the Oceanside offices, and they had a stage and a drama program there, and they also had an art studio, and they had rotating art galleries, and they sold things to at shows.
Right.
And they're on all aspects of the spectrum of gifting and things that you like to do. They offer it to the clients to be able to participate in.
Yeah.
And the art was fantastic that I saw it the day that I was there. It's incredible.
Yeah, all kinds of enrichment programs at TERI, and performing arts and art is a big part of it. And the new Performing Arts Center is like really nice and brand new. It's worth checking out.
Yeah, and the cafe is open.
I think 7 days a week. Yeah.
Is it called the TERI Cafe?
It's called the Common Grounds Cafe.
Common Grounds Cafe.
Yeah, in San Marcos. And it's on the website. You'll just have to check the hours that it's open. They have all kinds of music events and.
Is there one a cafe there?
No, the one that we have. I mean, there is one in Vista called the TERI Cafe, but that's not TERI Inc.
Yeah, that's
It's
so strange. It's
confusing.
like teriyaki.
Yeah.
There's another one, I know the TERI Cafe, but there's another one like near the Old Town, I've called this area, and there's another cafe there that I think was some nonprofit. I'm not sure if it was the same one.
You're thinking the Yellow Deli.
Something like that.
Yeah, yes, there is a Yellow Deli downtown with a wholesome market. Similar but different.
And they now have the bakery too.
They have the bakery too.
Were there any other microgreen specific questions or?
Do you have a favorite microgreen?
Probably cilantro. Micro cilantro is really
What's
good.
not to like?
I know, and it's better than regular cilantro for sure. And same with basil.
Same with basil.
Yeah.
All right, any more questions? Yes.
Is there something that you can't grow as microgreen, like they want?
I think you can grow anything microgreen. This is my son Clarence.
That's a different kind of microgreen.
Yeah, because I tried growing cantaloupe microgreens.
And?
They were kind of bitter.
Oh.
Cucumber microgreens.
No,
You can do cucumber, or really it's cucumber shoots. But it's just really the stage of the plant, so it can really be any.
But no nightshade. I know
Yeah.
somebody tried to do nightshade, and I'm like, are you nuts?
Yeah, that's probably a bad idea.
I mean, really, eggplant, tomato and stuff.
What kind of
Huh.
basil?
Or I end up stealth planting.
Is it the Thai basil or what kind?
We do Thai basil, dark opal basil, and then Genovese and Italian large leaf. And we source from different companies to see which ones work the best. You can't see the germination rate when you go to buy it on the website, but on the bag, when you get the seeds, it says the percentage of germination, and anything over 80 is usually pretty good. But we always test them and experiment and yeah, use what works the best.
Have you tried soilless microgreens?
I don't believe that's anything grown soilless. I think that soil has billions of organisms that scientists can't even figure out. So food grown in really healthy soil is going to have far more nutrients than anything grown hydroponically. Because hydroponics start with 0 parts per million, and the only nutrients that are in it are what they add.
What about the hydroponics they use with the tilapia fish tanks? And it's fertilized with the tilapia water.
It works super good, and if the roots stay on it, the plant lasts for a long time, but it's just grown in fish water. I think soil is the foundation.
The fish are fed a really high protein, specialized diet.
Yeah.
So I don't know anybody that's tested to see what's in.
The nutrient, if you
product,
tested
yeah.
the nutrient difference between soil and hydroponic, there's a huge, vast difference, I think.
Have you tried corn?
Have I tried corn?
Corn.
COIR,
Corn.
Like cocoa coir?
however you.
You know, the.
Yeah, we use that as a base for a lot of our, we grow radish and peas in coconut coir.
Has it got enough nutrients? It has enough nutrients, apparently.
It does. Those ones don't like a lot of fertilizer or nutrients. Peas and radish, they just want to grow. Yeah. They actually do worse in nutrient dense soil.
Are your parents okay with you having now gone into farming? Are your parents okay with that?
Yeah.
I was concerned.
Yeah. No, that was probably the best decision I ever made in my life. Was leaving college and moving to a farm. I mean, yeah. So I'm also into growing all kinds of stuff, really into fruit trees. I've got like 50 fruit trees at my house. I grow fruit trees for other people too sometimes.
Do you grow any persimmon?
I don't grow any I mean, I bought Maddock Ranch Nursery in Fallbrook. You can get bare root fruit trees in winter for like $30 to $40.
Oh, okay.
And they're 6 feet tall and the stalks are this big around. And it's a really great way to go if you're gonna.
Where is it?
It's called Maddock Ranch Nursery in Fallbrook. And every winter for a couple weeks in this end of December, beginning of January, they will get a shipment from Dave Wilson Nursery, and you can pre-order. And they have a list of all the fruit trees, and
Do they sell to the public now?
yeah. And it's a big stock, healthy trees, and it's a really great way to go for fruit trees, I think.
Take your credit card.
Yeah.
Take your credit.
But I mean, you would spend $150 for the size of trees that you get there.
Takes you longer not to grow it that long.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
So would you have any success with microgreens in our regular soil, or you would have to amend it to be lighter?
Yeah, it probably would be difficult in regular soil, but it could be done. It just depends on, it's really because of germination is so sensitive. So our greenhouses, we custom built them with like higher benches, and then we have pipes underneath the bench that the trays sit on.
Bottom heat.
And we have a water heater that circulates hot water through these PVC pipes. And it keeps it like 78 to 82 degrees. But a lot of growers just do it indoors where they can control the environment. So they just make the room warm. So it's really germination is the key for microgreens.
Yeah. This has been fantastic, and you have been fantastic. Thank you, everyone, for being so patient.